opinions, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
It's Sunday, and we continue to rock and roll right here on the platform just for you, the Dolphin fan all over the world. You can always count on this platform to carry you through everything. Obviously, we got some breaking news. Zach Sieler, the Ferris State product that 4 years ago they plucked from the Baltimore Ravens practice squad, has been an awesome player for the Dolphins. He has been absolutely fantastic, and he gets a 3-year extension, a well-deserved extension, $38.65 million, $20 million guaranteed. So the deal could be worth up to 38.65. So obviously some incentives in there, but he gets his 20 million guaranteed. They get to lock in. You saw the difference in the defense, on Saturday night without those two in the middle. It's just there's a drop off. And so Sieler, this is a great move because you had to sign Wilkins and Sieler. Now, I think in a perfect world, you want to sign Wilkins first, then Sieler. But the fact that you end up signing Sieler first, that kind of tells me that, boy, this Wilkins deal is, I've told you, they'll get it done, they'll get it done, they'll get it done. And, maybe the week, in another couple days, another week, it'll really heat up. But you wonder, this gets you thinking, have they hit just an absolute wall here? Is Wilkins asking for too much? Are the Dolphins completely lowballing? You know what I'm saying? That these are things that we really don't know. And then this also says, does this open it up for Jonathan Taylor? Because if you're just going to keep Wilkins and you're going to sign Sieler and say, well, we'll address the Wilkins thing at the end of the year, and if we can come to an agreement, if he raises his sack totals, and then we could give him the money based on the fact that he can get the sacks, because that's what he's asking for. He's asking for the kind of money that the guys that are getting the sacks and all that kind of stuff, and we want to pay him a couple million less because he doesn't get the sacks, whatever it is. And I think his sack numbers are going to go up this year because I think the ends are going to be much more effective, and you're going to have a secondary, which you didn't have a secondary last year, and the ends weren't able to get to the quarterback in time. So I just think it didn't open it up for the middle a little bit more. But getting Zach Sieler in there is good. Having Christian Wilkins not under contract is bad and good. Okay, so what's he going to do? Leave $11 million on the table? He's going to play. I think everybody's learned from Le'Veon Bell. Like, you're not getting that money back, dumbass. So go play. You have to take your chance. But here's the thing. It's kind of like X. Remember what I told you for the last year, that X knows and his agent knows they're going to get released this coming off season. Just like Byron Jones and his agent knew they were going to get released this past off season a year ago. So X knows that in order for him to stay here in the future, he needs to absolutely ball out this year. Not just for Miami, but also for the rest of the league. So you'll have a motivated X this year because he's going to want more money down the line. And X is motivated by his money, like the rest of us. And so Christian Wilkins will have to bust his ass, possibly get the sacks, and prove to people that he can be a sack guy and he deserves sack money. So I don't know where this stands. I thought that they would get this thing done. Maybe I'm wrong here. But this is the other thing. Remember I mentioned the Jonathan Taylor stuff. And remember I told you, you guys want a first rounder? Well, we'll give you Christian Wilkins. I did screw up in that piece. It's a Christian Wilkins in the first rounder. I meant by Christian Wilkins instead of the first rounder. Right? but they've got DeForest Buckner, right? So they don't need, a defensive tackle. But what about if they're opening it up a little bit more now and they say Taylor for Wilkins? What if that's, I doubt it, because if you're going to make a run and you're the Dolphins, you got to keep Wilkins. It's just a crazy thought I throw out there. I don't think it's the case. But you never know, because you've got a disgruntled player. Maybe you move him. Maybe they're willing to give him the contract since he is a hell of a player. I don't know. That's why I just throw it out there. I still don't think they'll give up a first or second rounder for him. If they are giving up a second rounder, it's because they're taking salary. Remember, I told you that. Okay? I think they're trying to get him, low-hanging fruit, third, fourth rounder is probably what they're trying to do. Just like Jalen Ramsey. They're trying to do a third or fourth rounder and give him Cedric Wilson or something, something like that. Just some kind of small ancillary piece that they may need so they could get low-hanging fruit. But if they're going to give up, I doubt it, a second round, it's because they're also giving up some salary in the return. Because there's no way you're taking on the Jonathan Taylor salary and not unloading some salary. Okay? On this show, we think that the cap actually exists. You can play with it, but it's a credit card. At one point or another, you're going to have to pay. My boy Omar, some days the cap matters, some days the cap doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So we bust his balls on that. But here, we're consistent. We stick with what we're telling you. Cap matters. You can play around with it. You can mortgage some of your future and all that stuff. But at one point or another, you're going to have to pay the piper. And you're going to have the dead cap years. You're going to have to add the dead cap space. And you're going to have to swallow it. Where everybody's using 100% of their pie, but you're only using 80% of your pie. You know what I'm saying? Like the first year that Chris Greer took over, and he just absorbed all that stuff the first 2 years and got rid of it all. Like Mike Tenenbaum's mistake in Ndamukong Suh, 19 and 13 were the 2 dead years. Of 19 million of cap space you couldn't use 1 year, and then 13 million of cap space you couldn't use the other year, thanks to Mike Tenenbaum. So you're going to have to pay at one point or another. Everybody does it. You kind of mortgage. You try to run the table. You try to make a run, and this is all part of it. So what do? And I think you got to keep Christian Wilkins to make a run, to be quite honest. I just throw it out there, Christian Wilkins for Jonathan Taylor for the hell of it, because it does fly. You know what I'm saying? If you think you're good enough in the middle that you trade away Christian, which really they're not. So I think you keep Wilkins for this year. He'll be motivated both ways. He has to prove, because he needs a contract next year. It'll suck for him to risk his career on the 1 year. Nobody wants to do that, but he's going to be motivated to play well and maybe motivated to get even more sacks because he wants that kind of money. So that's the good thing, okay? Remember, they got to trim the rosters down to 53 on Tuesday, so you're going to see a flurry of moves now happening over the next couple of days. People being released and maybe them claiming a person or two or a trade or two, something along those lines. I'm sure they're trying to make trades right now as we speak. David Davis, very good news. He was released from the hospital. We kind of got really good news yesterday when all his extremities and he was conscious and all that stuff. So that was all, that's what matters. I mean, shit, dude, you can move your head, your neck, you can move all your extremities, you're talking, that was really, really good news. And I hope that they fine 55 and suspend his ass or what. I didn't even look up the guy's name, to be quite honest. I just remember it was 55 from last night, but I don't even know if he's going to make the team or anything. You know what I'm saying? But I just hope that that they do something with that guy one way or another, because that was a dirty, dirty hit. So I don't know what the future is for Christian Wilkins. I felt pretty secure that they would get it done. But now at this point, I'm a little concerned about it not getting done. Now, it's not the end of the world. You can still make the run. And next year, you'll be searching for another defensive tackle. It's not the end of the world. I would like to keep Christian Wilkins because I like him. I think he's a really good player. I think he sets a great example. But Chris Greer's a hard ass, dude. He didn't give Connor Williams money, and he was right. And the trade he made with the Niners, he fleeced them. The trade he made with the Texans and Laramie Tunsil, he fleeced them. He fleeced what's it called? Belichick with that receiver. He got rid of Ryan Tannehill and still got a 4th rounder in return. This guy does stuff that he's a hard line negotiator. I keep trying to tell you this. That's why I don't believe that he'll just, he's going to give a 2nd-round pick and 13, 15 million a year for Jonathan. No, dude, I don't care that he's 24. I don't give a shit about that. He has a ton of mileage, and his history is that he doesn't overpay for running backs. And if you give a 2nd-rounder and you give up salary, then you're basically overpaying for him. I'd be critical of Chris Greer if he did it that way. Now, if he's unloading Agba, then it makes sense because you have people to pay and you cannot do that. You got to balance it out. So if he's getting rid of, let's say, Cedric Wilson and Agba in this deal at the same time, then he's a monster. Okay, so he gives a 2nd-rounder, but they take Agba, they take Cedric Wilson, and you get back Taylor. Okay, I get it. It makes sense. But I this thing about just giving up the 2nd-rounder and then all of a sudden you're just going to make the deal and pay him 14, 15, 16 million like they want? No. It's not his MO. It's not his MO. Essential Moving Experts, by the way, they are a great sponsor of our platform. And folks, they are headquartered in Daytona. They service the entire country. So long moving services, home moving services, long distance moving services, office relocation. You call them, folks. 386-213-4054. Call my guy, Sean Williams, Brooke, all the great people over there. Over 1,700 happy customers have chimed in and said, hey, man, we've had a great experience because moving was never so easy. They have safe and efficient loading and unloading practices all the time. My man, Marcel Louis-Jacques, is moving his stuff from Day to Broward, right? So it doesn't matter if you're moving from California to New York, from Atlanta to Chicago, whatever it is, wherever you're moving, Essential Moving Experts can help you. By the way, flat rates. You know that BS that they do to you? Oh, well, we could charge you, $1,000 to $3,000. Huh? Yeah, we'll charge you between $800 and $1,400. Huh? No. Flat rates. No surprise charges. You get great service. Call my guy, Sean Williams, folks. 386-213-4054. Now, remember, we have a new YouTube page. It's called Big O Radio Show. You're on Big O Radio Show, right? Well, all you do is add live to it. Big O Radio Show Live. And our daily live show, if you want to catch it, that's where it's going to be from now on. The wrestling show, Squared Circle Digest, that's where it's going to be. The crypto show will come back starting in September. So we are going to have multiple shows weekly on the crypto side. So make sure you subscribe. All the live shows will be on that channel. This channel will have these kind of segments, breaking news, Dolphins pre and post game show, all that kind of stuff will stay here, right here where you're at on this platform. So please subscribe to Big O Radio Show Live and please support the platform there. Also, if you can, okay, watch any of the shows, even if you're not you're hanging around the house. Let the iPad or phone or computer play with the show on because we need to get to 4,000 hours before we can even monetize that channel. So please watch as much as you can. Even if you're not watching, just let it play. We need to get to 4,000 hours quickly at Big O Radio Show Live. So that's hit the notification bell, hit the like button, and watch as much as possible, please. Even if you're not watching, just walking around. Even if you saw the show already, rewatch it. Doesn't matter. That's hours viewed for us. We need it big time at Big O Radio Show Live. So please subscribe. We're going to find out what's going to happen here, but I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling good about Christian Wilkins long-term. I still feel great about this team this year. I think you're going to have a bunch of motivated dudes. Christian Wilkins will be motivated. X will be motivated. And then you're going to have a team, I think, that is locked and loaded. They just need luck. The Dolphins need luck. if they can catch a couple of breaks and stay away from the injury bug, let's hope that most of the injuries that happened this year just happened here. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm hoping for, that they get some breaks. Last year, they were just, killed with injuries, and that's unacceptable, all right? So let's hope they get some breaks, because if they do, I am convinced that the Dolphins are going to win this division, are going to go deep into the playoffs, and we're going to be in Vegas watching the Dolphins in the Super Bowl. I promise you that. We shall catch you live, Big O Radio Show live at 10 a.m.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.